Hey guys, how you doing? Got a little time to do a little streaming during the daytime today, so I'm gonna do that for you. And I'm gonna make a second attempt at the Dengar drawing that I sketched out last night, which I'm feeling a lot better about than the last one. I feel like it's more my style, more like true to me. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. Just let me find my pen here. Yeah, so we're just gonna go at it. I'm also gonna use the smaller pen last time. I think the bigger pen was throwing me off because it wasn't something I've been using normally. So we're just gonna stay with the smaller line and just kind of do some like wobblies and doubling back to give it a little bit more thickness and line quality. That's kind of like what I call when I do that, like little like scratchy back and forth movements. This sketch, I honestly don't remember how long it took me on stream. Maybe like 5 or 10 minutes. I feel like it wasn't very long. But it may have been longer than that. I wasn't honestly paying attention to the time. Keep it pretty rough when I sketch. And last time it was too rough, and I hadn't really planned anything out, or didn't plan out enough, so it's kind of like where it went bad. But this one should be better, I think. We'll see. I still have plenty of time to mess it up. Plenty of time to mess it up. Can happen anytime. But yeah, hope you guys are doing well, having a good weekend, or good start to your week if you're closer to the other side of the world. Trying to keep it loose as much as possible. Thank you, I really appreciate that. Nothing more important to me than line quality, to be honest. So that's a great compliment, thank you. Yeah, but go ahead. Last time it's also pretty uncharacteristic for me to like kind of like as I did before, do like the main lines and then add the detail in. I'm used to doing the details I go, so that might have been tripping me up too. But it's a good idea to draw in different styles sometimes. I don't know. Like I think I was just off last night maybe. But it's feeling a little bit better today. Everybody has their off days. Totally acceptable. Don't sweat it. I sure don't. It may have seemed like I was upset when I was streaming, but like messing up a drawing now and then is totally normal. And no, this is not a dip pen. This is a fountain pen. And somebody asked that question, and it's a carbon desk pen. Excellent little pen. Not a huge fan of dip pens. I need something that's portable. Dip pens aren't extremely portable. Like I need something I can put in my pocket. So a lot of people complain about the long body in this pen, because it has a really long body, which is probably more characteristic of like a calligraphy pen. And I've seen people online that review it and they don't like it. They don't like it as a long body, and you can actually Um, the ink cartridge only goes to about here, so you can actually saw the end off and use like some epoxy to seal it if you want to make it a shorter version of the pen. I've seen some people do that. But I like it because I like to, especially when I'm drawing a little bit bigger, I like to hold the pen further up, and if the pen were shorter, I wouldn't have this part to rest on my hand. Because you need kind of like that leverage when pushing down on the pen. It's less strain on your fingers to have it resting against the back of your hand. I quite like this pen. It's a great all-purpose pen. But I was actually thinking of buying another one and doing what I just talked about, cutting it off, just to make it like a portable version. Because like this pen can fit in your pocket, but the end will stick out. And that's even with like, I know like men's pockets are usually a bit deeper than pockets on like women's clothing, so depending on what it is, of course. I'm not saying that's like a standard. But yeah, it's something that can a little bit more compact. Plus it'd be fun. If I do it, I'll probably make a video of it just to show you guys. So if you want to do it yourself, you can do it. Because I watched, I actually didn't watch a video. I read a description on how to do it with like pictures that the guy had, but I wasn't able to find a video for it, so I totally know how to do it in my head. Be pretty simple. Just saw it off and then use epoxy to stop off the end. And once the epoxy's in there and dry, then you can sand it off so it's nice and smooth. Probably look really natural, actually, like it was meant to be that way when it was done. Somebody asked about carpal tunnel. I've never had carpal tunnel. I've had the, it's like repetitive something, repetitive movement or repetitive stress something, which is not carpal tunnel, but basically strain on your tendons and your muscles from just doing the same motion with your hands over and over. And that was from a combination of drawing and working on the computer for long periods of time. Because when I was getting that, I was working at a job where I was on the computer all day. So I got that, and that can be remedied with just like forearm strengthening exercises and stretching, as well as like making sure your workspace is ergonomic and everything. The worst thing you can do is to rest your forearm on like the edge of your desk, like that. Like the edge of my desk is right here. You don't want to rest your forearm on the edge of your desk because your muscles are moving, and they're essentially while you're like drawing or typing. And if you do that, they're essentially being pinched. So you want to make sure that if you're resting anything on your surface, it's like the pad of your hand, not your forearm. So, you know, a lot of people say the answer to drawing ergonomically is to draw on a slanted desk, and that's not necessarily true because I don't like to draw on a slanted surface. But just make sure that you have like your posture is good. I like using a stool that has no chair back, so you can't like lean back into the chair. You're kind of forced to sit upright, and that's a lot better posture for you. And then naturally you want to be at a height where if you're too low, your forearm is going to be angled up, and that's when you're going to rest it on the edge of the desk. You want to be just high enough above the level of your desk that your forearm is like slightly angled down, so you rest the pad of your hand on your desk rather than your forearm. But yeah, no, I've never had carpal tunnel, but by doing things like that, by regular stretching and making sure your workspace is ergonomic, you can avoid that. Not that it's a guarantee, because like sometimes it just happens. Some people are more prone to it, and I'm sure one day I'll have to face carpal tunnel. But it's just kind of a reality. But the surgeries to correct carpal tunnel are getting less and less invasive, so I'm kind of not totally worried about it, really, because I know like the best thing I can do now is preventative measures, so I do all of that, and I know one day if I actually get severe carpal tunnel to the point where I'd have to get some sort of procedure done, then I'm not super scared. Um, how long does it take me to come up with a character design? A lot of times when I design characters, I try to make it really spontaneous for like the initial design. I'll just think of a vague idea of like, oh, I want to draw like a rabbit character in like a certain type of armor, and then I draw that, and then I look at it and I think about it and think about like what I'd like to change, what I'd like to improve, and then keep that stuff in mind for the next time I draw it. And so I kind of like to continue to improve a character design bit by bit as I go, and that's a process that can take a long time, but it's kind of hard to put a timer on it because there's really no answer for like how long a character design should take, and each one is different for me. Sometimes when I draw it the first time, it's just like I nailed it, like there's really nothing I would want to change, and other times I do a ton of revisions, even if they're like super small ones. There's nothing wrong with that. So the best answer is as much time as it needs. But something like this is a character from Star Wars, so it's already established and stuff. So doing the sketch, like I said, maybe 5 to 10 minutes I think I spent. I'd probably say 10 minutes I spent on this. And if any of you were keeping track last night, remind me if it was more than that or less. I don't know. But yeah, try not to spend too much time on sketches because I don't like drawing things twice. And putting a lot of detail in a sketch means I'm going to end up drawing something twice, and I don't like doing that. The style question is always kind of like there's not an answer to that question. As to say like anything that comes with like a personal style, like what is your style or how do you develop it. I don't think there's really a good answer to that because there's really like no single way to do it. Everybody's different, and I think the one thing that's constant is that it happens automatically. Like it's not at all something you can force. Which I always like. I see a lot of people that will post one of their drawings and say like, what do you think my style is? Basically, like asking a question to people looking at it, or what do you think is noticeable about my style or unique about my style? And I always like kind of feel bad when I see that because I worry about the answers they're going to get and how it's going to affect them. The artist, I mean, who's posting it. Because I don't know, you can say stuff like, oh, your line quality is like kind of sketchy, and like I like that about your style, but that's like it sounds like it could be specific, but it's still really vague. It's hard to say that any one thing makes your style identifiable. There are some glaring things that you can kind of find. But I think, like even I'd have a hard time describing my style. And I tend to avoid doing that because I don't want to feel like I'm committing to something. Because I like to say that my style is, however you quantify it, I like to say it's something that I'm constantly trying to change and improve. I don't like to do one thing for long periods of time. I do a lot of like jumping back and forth, especially between projects, of like drawing more or less realistically with more or less detail. Yeah, so it's hard to say. It's something that happens naturally. And the one thing I do say regularly about style is it's kind of like your style is more of a collection of your habits than it is anything else. So if you want to kind of look at developing your style, look at what your habits are. Look at different drawings of yours and try to find what's constant. Like, oh, do I draw hands a certain way? Or like how do I draw this, or how do I draw that, or like Little things like that, because those are the things that really affect your style, I think. Yeah, so I also wouldn't worry about it. Like, a lot of people, and myself included, worry about, oh, do I have a unique style, or does my drawing look like everybody else? Regardless of what people say, or regardless of what you tell yourself, your drawing doesn't look like everybody else's, unless you're straight up copying other people's drawings. There's always going to be, regardless of how similar it may actually be, there's always going to be a hint of you in there, you know? And so it's about finding those things that make your drawings you, your habits. That's what's gonna indicate what your style is. It's your unique little quirks that make your drawing different. Because even if you use the same drawing tool and draw the exact same thing as somebody else, like, it's always going to be slightly different because it's you drawing and not them. So that's, I think, a good thing to keep in mind. Somebody asked if I study anatomy a lot, and I'll answer that question as I'm talking about my art background. I've been drawing for pretty much all of my life, as long as I can remember. I've just been one of those kids that loved to draw when they were little and just kind of kept doing it. There were a couple periods of time where I was drawing very little for close to a year and a half almost, that I drew very little. But I was still drawing, like, I'd still be doodling on post-it notes and stuff. So I don't think I've ever, like 100% stopped drawing for any period of time. So I've just kind of always done it. I've only really been serious about it the last, like, year and a half, 2 years. But I did go to art school, the Academy of Art in San Francisco, for, I think, 3 semesters. And that's where I studied a lot of anatomy. I did a lot of figure drawing there. And that's pretty much where I got my basis for, like, knowing how to draw anatomy. But it is something you can study online too. There's plenty of information that you can look at. And just drawing from yeah. Hi. And drawing from reference a lot too can help you learn those skills. If you're concerned about learning to draw that kind of stuff. I try to just, rather than, because I've studied anatomy so much, I just try to keep practicing to keep it fresh. So I still draw, even if I'm not working on projects with human characters, I still draw a lot of human characters just to keep that anatomy in mind, even if they're really stylized. But yeah. And I did see before that somebody asked if I save the face for last, if there's, like, a reason for that. Not really. Most of the time I actually will draw the face first, because if I mess the face up, I don't want to, obviously, like, I'll stop there and redraw it. So I kind of like to get that risk out of the way, because face is a pretty easy thing to mess up, especially if I'm drawing, like, straight to ink and I haven't sketched it out beforehand. Then I'll start with the head, because not only is this a good place to start, it's a good point of reference for the rest of the body. But if I mess it up, then I haven't spent a lot of time, like, rendering the body. In this instant, like, his whole head is covered, like, all the way around, so I wanted to start with his hood. But there was no real reason for me not to do the face immediately after. I'm not saving it for last for any reason, other than, like, I feel confident about this one. If I didn't feel as confident about it, I would have drawn the face first. But I'm gonna make him all, like, because I noticed he had a scar on his face, so I'm gonna kind of draw him, and I'm not sure if this is canon or not, but I'm kind of drawing him at the moment, like, where he may have gotten the scar, and he's all, like, bloodied up and stuff, and his armor is all shot up here, as you can see. I'll get you a close up on some of that detail that I've been drawing there. I think it's like the details of the bullet holes. It's always super fun to draw that stuff. Love drawing that stuff. Yeah, thanks for coming by, guys. I haven't said that. I may have said it once already, but yeah, thanks for stopping by and hanging out. Oh, how do I make a living? Well, I'm lucky enough. I'm married, and I am technically the stay-at-home parent. My wife is the primary income. My work is I do it less than part-time. I do it, maybe 3 to 4 hours a day. And basically it's like a supplement to our income. It helps pay the bills and stuff, buy groceries and gas and stuff like that. It's something I know that if I moved to doing it full time, I could actually probably make a decent living off of it. Maybe not to support a whole family, because like I say, I'm married and I have a son. But yeah, I mean, freelance work mostly is where I make most of my money, and then the stuff that I sell and like my Patreon stuff is like probably my smallest income. But just extra. I kind of just try to spread out and get it wherever I can. But I do a lot of freelance work. That's where I make the majority of my money, and then I also do commissions when I get them, and yeah, like I said, I also have some personal stuff, digital stuff that I'm selling and stuff like that. Make him all beat up, like I said. A little bit cut up there. I guess I haven't really closed commissions. Somebody asked if I'm open for commissions. Currently, I would say I'm open. So if you want a commission, then just email me. My email is in my profile, as well as on all of my social media sites. You can also direct message me on Instagram or Twitter if you're interested. Just to go for reference, like I'm probably going to shade this with some pencil or color pencil, but like a drawing like this, like 9 by 12 of a character, and usually I'd say it's like, either like a bust like this, like a detailed bust, or a full body drawing. I usually start at like $50 for just the inks without shading, and go up from there. So something like this I'd usually sell for with the shading, I mean, once it's fully shaded, like 75, as long as it's just a character and it's not like super crazy detailed with like a crazy background and stuff. People tell me I should charge more, and maybe I should. I probably will in the future, so if you're interested in the commission, hit me up, because I may be raising my prices soon. If you needed a better reason. He's totally goofy looking, but I kind of want to make him look kind of goofy. Yeah, and that does include, my prices include shipping in the U.S. For international shipping, I usually charge an extra $10, because that's what it costs to file the customs form. So yeah, I mean, I want to get to a point where I'm taking less commissions and working more on personal stuff, but I'll probably still take a handful now and then. I did notice that question before. Somebody asked if I add tone with water brush. Yeah, I do. It depends on what mood I'm in and what I'm feeling at the moment. Sometimes I do water brush with like diluted ink. Sometimes I do pencil. Sometimes I do colored pencil. It just whatever takes me in the moment, But those are pretty much what I stick to. I do some like dry brushing with ink also. And I really enjoy doing that. I think a combination between like dry brushing and pencil is what I'm going to settle on for my comic, actually. Or maybe just graphite. I don't know. Like, I'm still kind of up in the air. There's so many different things I want to do. It's kind of hard to decide on what I'm actually going to do. And I did decide to draw him with like a big fat black eye. I can't resist. I just like drawing Black eyes. Kind of like that's where I get the scar or something. Yeah, the cat character, and as well as like the rabbit character and all the bug people, are characters from my comic book. And that's also a good idea to talk about character design, because like that cat character, her name is Spriggan, that I draw all the time. She does a design that I tweak like constantly. Like I'm always tweaking her design. So that's a design that's been ongoing for over a year, that I just change little bits here and there whenever I'm in different moods or whatever. I don't know. It's like a character like that. Like that's the main character. So that's the main character is what you want to spend obviously the most time on, especially if you're doing comic books. It's going to be what you're drawing the most. You want to make sure they're appealing, you know, and also, you know, getting practice in, because you're going to be drawing them a million times. And my favorite artists are I feel pretty obvious. Ashley Wood, Mobius. Mobius is Jean Giraud. Jeff Darrow. Guillaume Singelin, French artist. Mike Mignola is a big one. I think Mike Mignola is who like really inspired me to get into comics, just because I was never a fan of superhero comics, and then I started reading Hellboy. I was like, wow, this is what I want out of comic books. Like, I was never big on heroes, but I always liked Hellboy. Let's see who else. Jamie Hewlett, the artist that's done Gorillas as well as Tank Girl, a bunch of other stuff. Jim Mahfood, another artist that's done Tank Girl. I feel like all of my favorite artists have drawn Tank Girl at one point or another. Not Mobius, obviously, but Ashley Wood, Jim Mahfood, and wait, did Ashley Wood draw Tank Girl? I feel like he did, like maybe some covers or something. I don't know if he actually ever drew the comic. I'd have to look that up. But I mean, his Metal Gear Solid stuff too is just awesome. As well as a myriad of you know, artists that may not be as big name that I follow on Instagram and Tumblr and Twitter and all that. Basically, for, you know, just hop on my followers lists and check out pretty much anybody, and those are my favorite artists. Those are people I look at every day, you know. It's good to get inspiration. Good to even if you know, don't have a lot of people locally, or like friends that draw regularly, like surrounding yourself with people that draw, even if it's just online, is super important. Because seeing other people being creative, like, makes you want to be creative too, even if it's making you feel guilty. But seeing other people drawing all the time is like, oh man, they're drawing all the time, like now I want to draw all the time. Whatever works, man. I know that it works for me a lot. It just makes me realize, like, regularly, like, man, I'm on my phone or my computer right now looking at other artists where I could be drawing. And that works. That's a motivator. Let's get some scratchies in there. Got to. Surprised nobody's asked about tape on my hand yet. I think that's funny. I always get people asking, like, when I have band-aids and shit on my hand. I'm doing, like, the line work is pretty established right now, so I'm pretty much just going in and doing, like, some shading and stuff. Like I said, I am going to come back in with some graphite. Probably not on this stream, because I'm not going to do it right now. But I'll probably come in with some graphite and Because like I got some big empty spaces here, so I'll go in the graphite and kind of like do some gradations and then maybe like erase out to get some highlights. It's always a fun thing to do. And you got big empty spaces to fill. Yeah, surprised it's got the just a piece of tape on my hand. Don't worry about it, it's a mystery. I just got some unsightly marks on my hand that I don't want you guys to have to look at. They're not permanent by any means, nor is it anything to be worried about. So don't worry, my hand's totally fine. Just got some healing stuff on there that's, I don't want you to have to look at. I mean, I don't want to look at it. Okay, I'm glad to be able to do a little bit of daytime streaming today for you guys. My wife and my son are napping. It's nap time, so things worked out nicely. When I'm excited, I get to got a birthday dinner to go to tonight. Not my birthday, but I got a birthday dinner to go to, and I always like going to dinner with people. Gonna eat some food. It's nothing better to do while hanging out with people and eat food. It's like everybody loves food. Universal love. Yeah, I mean thank you. I'm glad I can inspire you and give you some of that motivation. That's like exactly what I'm talking about. It's like seeing other people create makes you want to create. Like, so I'm telling you, like, if you don't follow any artists on Instagram or whatever, you don't have an Instagram, get an Instagram. Just follow people. Just get on it, like, every day, like just for 10 or 15 minutes. Even if it's like just before you draw, just to give you some like motivational fuel. And seeing what other people are working on and innovating is a good way to help lead you down that same path. If you surround yourself with the people who do the things that you want to do, like, it'll rub off on you. Their motivation will rub off on you. Well, my favorite stuff to draw is the stuff that can give you nightmares. I don't know, like drawing stuff that can give you that kind of reaction is just satisfying. Don't ask me why. I don't know. I know I was doing some of that last night. I just drawing like, gross body horror stuff. Just fun, man. I don't know what I'm doing here. Just drawing random buttons, panels and stuff. I don't know. Gotta put something here. And so I'll fill it with little doodads. And he actually does have like little knobs and stuff on his armor. Oh, sorry, I'm drawing on this thing there. Still getting used to the camera size of the iPhone versus the iPad. Yes, I moved to an iPhone. I have a smartphone again, so hopefully people are saying the picture quality is a little bit better, the video quality is better, so I hope that's true. I hope you guys are happy about that. I know I am. I actually should go back and probably watch my replays and compare them. Because, yeah, I don't know, like that. I don't know what it was on the iPad. Like, the camera just wasn't that good. And it was, I think, it's like the iPad 2, I think. So it wasn't like a particularly old one. But it was just kind of like, I don't know, the camera was never really that great. It was always kind of like fuzzy. And this one, I mean, even on my end, like, looks a lot more clear. So, yeah. It's also nice to be back on a smartphone, just to have access to all my stuff. Emails and stuff like that. I get a lot of complaints about how I don't answer emails very often, and it's mostly because like I wasn't able to check my emails unless I was on my computer, and I honestly didn't have a lot of time to just like be on my computer and check it regularly. Because I'm taking care of a kid during the day, you know. Like I don't want to be on my I don't want to be on a I don't want to be in front of a screen. I want to spend time with him, obviously. I don't like to use that as an excuse, you know. So I always kind of just like apologize to people, but being able to like just respond to an email really quick is like pretty harmless and really convenient for me. So I'm happy about that. But yeah, so there's Dengar. Like I said, I'm probably gonna should I do like a background behind him? Maybe I should do something. Nothing. I'll do it. I'll do it later because it would be boring. But I'm probably use a little bit bigger pen to like go in here and just do the scritchy scratch thing and fill all of it in. And let me take this. Where's my thing? Where's my thing? Here's my thing. These are all my links. Patreon, like I said, is the monthly. It's like a monthly Kickstarter essentially, where you can go to help support my personal projects, all my comics and stuff. And you can also see exclusive news and images from that kind of thing there, as well as I have like just like Kickstarter, you can get rewards and stuff like postcards that I send to you, original drawings and stuff like that. And then Gumroad is my digital store, gumroad.com/sharkbaby. You can see all my digital art books there, as well as I think I have one. Yeah, I only have one physical short comic up there, but you can order that. And if you go to Gumroad and you want to buy something, if you type that in as a purchase code, Periscoping without a G, caps doesn't matter, you get $1 off. And then YouTube channel is just Merrick Jiraki. It's where I upload all the replays of my Periscope streams. So if you guys want to take time to check those out, I'd be super thankful. And you can probably see some cool stuff that you don't see on my other sites. So it's win-win, right? Okay, so let's just do like a little. Let's just do something fun. And just do something in Sketchbook. And let's see. You know, I haven't drawn with in a while is the Pilot Parallel pen, and I've kind of been wanting to. So yeah, I'll grab one of those. And this is something I have drawn a lot with before, and I use them all the time for like filling in blacks and stuff. They're designed, as you can see, they've got a flat tip, and they're designed to be used as a calligraphy pen, but they're amazing for drawing. And I like to use them to draw straight to ink without sketching, because they have kind of like a really lively line quality that I really enjoy. Yeah, it is a Canson sketchbook, which is not the brand I normally use, but I had a 50% off coupon for Michaels, and they don't have the brand I normally use at Michaels, so I decided to try this one. I actually quite like it. Minus the spirals, I really don't like spiral notebooks of any kind, because they get like caught on things and ugh. Okay, what do I want to draw? Maybe I'll do some horror stuff like I was doing last night, some body horror stuff, because I had a lot of fun doing that. So yeah, let's do that. And I'll kind of be demonstrating what I was talking about earlier, of drawing, starting with the head. When you're drawing a body, even if you're going to make it all like mutated and crazy, the head is a great place to start, because you can kind of build everything off from there. It's a super fun pen to use. Really awesome for doing, like, if you do a lot of like character designs, like doing if you do thumbnails, it's great for doing thumbnails. just this pen just has a quality to it that's like pretty unmatched. Because you can get calligraphy like drawing pens, but most of the time they're like a felt tip, which wears down over time. And with this metal tip, like you can use the corner. You can use the corner to like do a thin line, and then like I was doing, use the side to do like really thick, varying strokes. It's super fun to use. There's nothing quite like it that I've ever found. So yeah, it is essentially a chisel tip, but not in the sense that most chisel tips are, because like I said, it's metal. And that also means you can fill it with your own ink, because it uses cartridges. And mine I actually bought a converter for, because the Pilot converter fits it. So instead of using a cartridge, I can just fill it with my own ink, which is like almost necessary for a pen like this for me, because the stock ink is really not great for drawing. It smears really easy. But I'll show you here, because I'm about to do like a big sweeping stroke, like what you can really do with this pen. It's the way you can like just get like big interesting lines really fast with it is just like pretty unmatched. You can do similar stuff with like brush pens, but I like the really sharp, jagged nature of this pen. Super fun to use. It's also great to use for bigger drawings too, because you can obviously get a lot of different line qualities from it. So, yeah, fun, super fun. Well, when you're using the stock ink bleeds, because it's a really wet, really strange ink. I use ink that doesn't bleed. I use fountain pen ink. So as you can see, like you can see it on the other side of the paper just because it's dark, but it doesn't bleed through the paper at all. The other ink does. I don't know exactly why that is. But I just don't like it. It's also, not waterproof at all. It's just really not great. Like you can smear it with, like if your palm gets a little damp and you put your palm on it, like it'll smear, and that's just really like unacceptable for me. But the nice thing is even if you don't buy a converter, you can take the cartridges that the ink normally comes in, take all the ink out, wash them out, and just fill them with your own ink with like a syringe or whatever. And yes, you did hear people speaking in Spanish. They're my in-laws. I don't speak very much of it myself, but I understand quite a bit of it. Yeah, I'm working on it. I'm working on learning it. Mostly, like I want my son to learn it too. So obviously, I want to learn it because obviously, a big part of his family is Spanish speaking. Oh yeah, I was gonna answer that. Somebody asked if I draw digitally. The answer is no. I mean, I do occasionally, and I can, but I don't like to. It's not my style. Yeah, I have probably like the most broken, because like I do understand a little bit, so I am able to say a little bit, but like I have a terrible accent, and it's just all bad. As you can see, like this is great for like filling in big black spaces too. Well, I'm not going to spend too long on this sketch. These pens are really affordable. Maybe like $15, I think, if I remember correctly. And I have broken a couple of them from pressing too hard, because the way they work, the reason they're called parallel pens is the metal tip is actually two parallel plates that are pressed together. They're actually, well, they're not pressed together. They actually have like an ink channel where the ink comes through. But if you dig too hard into the paper, you can like pull it out and bend the tip, and then it just like spits ink after that, and it's pretty much ruined for any like real practical drawing. So it's a good thing they're that affordable. And this drawing is getting out of control quick. I'm just kind of like, I wasn't intending to fill this all in black, but I wanted to show you guys how it can do that. I'm kind of like scrambling to keep up with this drawing right now. So yeah, once again I waited to draw on the face, which is not very typical of me. I'm just going to keep it simple anyway. I don't feel like drawing, like I was just drawing a face, and I don't feel like spending a lot of time on this one. Sometimes that's all you need. And I know I did mention this was going to be like a body horror thing. I'm sure you guys are wondering when that was going to start happening. That's about to start happening. Kind of liking how dark this is now. Took me a second, but I like it now. And you can see even with this much ink, this is how much I like this sketchbook. Like the paper is wrinkling a little bit, obviously, because it's wet, but it doesn't bleed. This paper I think is 98 or 95 pounds, so it's fairly thick. That's pretty much like 80 or 90 is like the minimum that I'll do for drawing with ink. Just because otherwise it can bleed, or you'll just be able to see the ink through the other side, which is just as bad. Not just as bad, but bad enough. And what did you think I was going to do? But draw tentacles. I'm just gonna draw some, just basically like a mass of tentacles and like little things. It's fun. I was doing this last night too, with a smaller pen actually. I'm also want to like try to find a way, which is I think probably what I'm going to start practicing with, for like my next kind of adventure. Maybe probably for Inktober quite a bit. Is trying to find a way to combine this pen with like big black strokes with a smaller, more detailed pen like the one I was using before. And I'm thinking that what I might do, and it'll also help with, cut down on my drawing time and stuff, is like do like the detailed parts with a small pen, like the head, the hands, and like maybe legs, and then for like the body and like bigger parts of clothing, use this pen to kind of just make it more abstract. I don't know, like I have ideas in my head that I'm kind of just gonna have to see what happens and do some experimenting, but it should be fun. Because yeah, I am gonna try to do Inktober. I may not, like I said, I mentioned this before. I may not be able to do every day, just because I'm busy and my schedule is kind of all over the place. I'll try to at least do like a small drawing, but I think at least for several of the days I want to try to do like little one-page comics, which would be probably too much of an undertaking to do one every day, just because I have so many other things that I'm working on too. But we'll see. It'll be fun regardless. I love doing Inktober. I couldn't imagine not doing it. Just because, like, I love ink so much, like, how could I not? But I encourage you guys to do it too, even if you don't draw with ink that regular. It's a great excuse to take the opportunity to try to learn, because there's many other people that are going to be doing the same thing. So yeah, I encourage you to do it. I mean, for those of you who don't know what Inktober is, it's something that was started by Jake Parker, who's a really awesome artist. And it's on Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, it doesn't matter, it's everywhere now. But basically for the month of October, hence Inktober, you get it. Basically the challenge is to draw something in ink every day for the entire month. And there's no like really theme, there's no real theme. A lot of people do Halloween stuff because it's October, but you can do whatever you want. Basically it's just a call to, try drawing in ink. You don't have to do it every day, but if you do, post your drawings with the hashtag Inktober, Inktober, and I'll be looking at a lot of people's different stuff. I always like to check out and see what people are doing for Inktober. So yeah, I encourage you to do it. A bunch of people do it. It's a great solidarity too if you're like nervous to try ink, because a lot of people are going to be doing the same thing. So encourage you to get out there and try it. And don't worry if you don't have like fancy ink pens or anything like that. Like, just grab a ballpoint and use that if that's all you got. I find that you really like it. That's what I did last Inktober. I drew almost everything in ballpoint. That was really fun. Just drawing tentacles. Something I could do all day. This pen is a Pilot Parallel pen. Pilot Parallel pen. And I actually, like I said, I don't use the stock ink. You can actually get all different colors of ink for it. And when you buy the pen, it does come with the stock ink. So I encourage you to try it with the stock ink just to see if you do like it, because like some people do like it, I guess. I'm very, very picky about my ink, so it wasn't up to my standards, but I also have very high standards, so I just don't like that it smears so easy. It takes a long time to dry. That's one of the big issues for me. But I encourage you to get one and try it, just because they're inexpensive and they're so much fun to use. They're so much fun to use. As you can see, like, I mean, what got me into using this pen to try it was watching somebody draw with it and watching like how fast you can make these awesome dark strokes. But like I said, I do use my own ink. I use well, you cannot see that at all. But basically it's a gold label that says Sailor with a bunch of kanji on it. It's Sailor Kiwaguro ink. Just Sailor black ink if you look for it, and you look for that little stub bottle with the gold lettering, and you'll find it. It's a little bit spendy, about $25 a bottle, depending on where you get it from. But it's a really great ink, and it'll work safely in any fountain pen. It has a really nice quality to it. I like inks that aren't like 100% black, like that kind of have a little bit of translucency, not translucency, but opacity, I guess, to them. Let's say it's like 98% black. Like, if you go over it twice, it'll be 100% black. But I kind of like it to have just a little bit of extra texture there. But it's almost Halloween, guys. It's almost time to get spoopy. I may have like just instantly made enemies by saying that, but I don't care, man. Spoopy, time to get spoopy. can't wait. I love Halloween. Best holiday. And this lady's like coming up to you and like hitting on you. She's got this big dark cloak on, but it's dark out so you can't see her legs, and then she walks into the light. You can see why this pen is intended to be a calligraphy pen. Too much fun to use. Too much fun to use. I haven't used it for a while, so I'm glad I pulled it out. Let's get spoopy. My body is ready for the spoops. Let's get spoopy. Let's do it. Alright guys, it's been fun. This is a good stream. My stream was kind of a train wreck last night. Like in a good way? I don't know if that makes sense. But, good stream today. Got a lot of stuff done and had a really great time. And I'm really glad you guys came by and put up with me and stuff. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed it. Thanks for coming by, and I hope you guys have a good end of your weekend or a good start to your week or wherever you're at. I love you all, and I'll see you next time.